Welcome to another episode of the Jampack Report, today for December the 30th of 2020. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry. Hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week, it's your one-stop shop for everything you need to know. So if you enjoy the show and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and keep coming back for more. But with a new year on the horizon, plenty of new games are on their way to consoles around the world as well as other platforms, and on top of that, some games are going to be kicking off their development, including what appears to be an entirely new IP coming from the team at Respawn Entertainment, because job listings always dish the goods. Respawn Entertainment is keeping busy as of late, as it should be. This is a studio that has proven itself time and time again in recent years, cementing itself as one of EA's most valuable development teams, thanks to the success of games like Titanfall 2, Apex Legends, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Thanks to a job listing, we know that one of Respawn's newest projects won't be something we are already familiar with. A role for a software engineer mentions that Respawn is looking for someone to, quote, join a small new team being formed to develop a brand new IP, end quote. That could mean absolutely anything. The sky is the limit. As for Respawn's current affairs, Apex Legends became so successful that EA opened a Canadian branch specifically to focus on that battle royale. Also, it seems as though more Star Wars Jedi titles are in the works, and that a new Titanfall is not an imminent priority. This new IP will be, at a minimum, the third thing that Respawn is tackling all at once. I can't think of a studio that I would rather have start up a new IP right now than Respawn Entertainment, because they are just doing so incredibly well. And you see them branching out, because in my mind, for the first few years of their existence, Respawn was a first-person shooter studio, because it was kind of founded by Call of Duty veterans, and then Titanfall came along and it kind of cemented itself in that section of the gaming industry. Then out of nowhere comes Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is one of the best Star Wars games ever made, in my opinion. Very good game if you have not had time to check that one out. But now we have something that is entirely new. Will it be a first-person shooter? Will it be another action game like we saw with Star Wars? Or will it be something entirely different? I don't know, but I'm very excited to see what the team comes up with. So if you were wondering what Respawn is working on, not only 3 existing games, but on top of that, some new IP coming down the pike. Or I should say 2 existing games with some new IP. You know what I'm saying. It's very confusing because I have seen reports they're going to be continuing the Star Wars stuff. I've seen some that say they're making Titanfall. I've seen some that are talking about focusing on Apex. There's a lot of stuff over in the works at Respawn. And again, for good reason, because they as a team can absolutely handle it. But as 2020 draws to a close, the Nintendo Switch had a fantastic year, and it has of course become the best indie machine on the market, but today the team at Indie World is highlighting the best-selling indies of the year on their platform. The Nintendo Switch is the most popular console on the market. A large part of that success comes from Nintendo's excellent first-party support. However, it would be a mistake to forget what an amazing indie machine the console is. Being able to take some of the most highly touted indie games on the go is an incredible feather in the Switch's hat, and today the team at Nintendo's Indie World shared the best-selling indies on the console in 2020. Some of them might surprise you. You can find the list below, and you can check out the entire video on the official Nintendo channel. As you would expect, games like Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Spiritfarer top the list. Those 3 games have featured prominently in Game of the Year list across the world, so it's not surprising to see them doing well in the community at large. It's also really neat to see Switch users rallying around games like Streets of Rage 4, Carrion, Superliminal, and Kentucky Road Zero. And you can find the entire list down below, which includes from top to bottom Hades, Streets of Rage 4, Spiritfarer, Moving Out, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Carrion, What the Golf, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, Super Mega Baseball 3, Superliminal, Jackbox Party Pack 7, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, Kentucky Road Zero, Crosscode, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, and Neon Abyss. This proves the value of the Nintendo Switch, and I think I was in the group that questioned the success of the Nintendo Switch going forward after the launch of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and I think that Nintendo will absolutely see a dent in their sales because more people will be more interested in checking out the newest, most powerful hardware. But the majority of players that aren't like me are going to absolutely be drawn to the Nintendo Switch. Looking at the price point, you see $300 and $200 versus $500 and $400. At a time when there's a lot of financial instability, it would be much more sensible to buy the cheaper console, even if you aren't getting 4K support and even if you aren't getting the highest frame rates, you still get games that keep you busy and plenty of them. That's a win in my book. On top of that, if you look at the games that are available, you see tons and tons of indies. In a way, the Switch kind of took over the success of the Vita, and it became the home for indies. And on top of that, some pretty good ports of some of the biggest games of all time. You have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Doom Eternal, plenty of games like that. And so, the value of the Nintendo Switch continues to shine through, but these indies bring so much variety, they bring so much depth to the selection that is offered from the Nintendo Switch that you can't help but really admire just how far Nintendo has come. I mean, people were suggesting that Nintendo just stopped making hardware after the Wii U, and imagine if they had done that. Imagine how much the gaming community would have missed out on without the Nintendo Switch. It really is impressive to see. And so I'm glad that Nintendo chose to continue pursuing their hardware dreams, and for a good reason, because it is certainly paying off. Now, this is a story that came out early yesterday morning, and I wanted to touch on it because I find it very, very interesting. A rumor claims that Ubisoft Plus will join Xbox Game Pass next year. Pause. There is absolutely no weight to this at all. This is nothing more than a rumor, a speck of dust on the wind. Don't consider this to be actual news. I want to make that incredibly clear. This is actually something that was shared from Idle Sloth on Twitter, I almost said Twitch, from Xbox Worlds, so this is essentially a wish list of things that could be coming in 2021. Not that they will actually be coming, but things that could happen in 2021 that would be generally positive. I mean, the list includes stuff like Forza Horizon 5, Starfield and Wolfenstein 3 all coming to Xbox consoles next year. You're looking at stuff like streaming on Samsung TVs, that kind of stuff is what is being reported on here. But I wanted to still bring it up because of how monumental this would be. I tweeted about this yesterday, but now you would have Xbox first-party games included in Game Pass, you would have EA Play included in Game Pass, and Ubisoft Plus included in Game Pass, alongside all of these other smaller deals that are just cut on the side. That would be the end-all, be-all need for a gaming subscription, and really Game Pass Ultimate is the only gaming subscription that the general gamer really needs. You get your Xbox Live Gold, you get access to plenty of games every month, so if you aren't that particular, you don't really have anything to worry about. But Ubisoft Plus would essentially, for me, eliminate the need to really buy anything outside of a Call of Duty, or even a new Battlefield, but then I would have a trial from EA Play. So ultimately, this would be an incredible win, but I want to bring up the idea that if Ubisoft Plus does come to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, there is no way they can continue keeping this service priced at $15 per month. There is just too much being offered here. Even now, the value of Game Pass exceeds $15 per month. You get EA Play, you get Xbox Live Gold, and you get access to tons of Xbox first-party titles on top of all of the other little bells and whistles. It's just so much more than $15 of content. And so if Ubisoft Plus was included, I could easily see this subscription rising to $20. But the question is, how high can it go before people stop seeing the incredible value that it brings? Because $15 is a really good sweet spot. I mean, that's a baller trip to Taco Bell. You know, that's not a ton of money. And so to be able to have that $15 per month subscription is the sweet spot where a lot of players like myself just throw that money into the arms of Microsoft and say, give me all these games, give me the Xbox Live Gold, because I might as well since I have to buy gold anyway. So for $15 a month, I have no problem with that. For $20, I'm still in. Anything higher than that, I'm kind of iffy about it because, again, you know, that's still that's a chunk of change, you know. $5 might not seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, that stuff adds up. So my question is to you in the comment section down below, who would pay extra money for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate? And then on top of that, do you think that Ubisoft Plus is going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass? Would love to hear what you have to say about that one. But of course, rumors have it that PlayStation is working on their own subscription service, and it's going to be catering to the 3.4 million plus people that bought PlayStation 5 in the first 4 weeks, with the expected 18 million units in 2021. PlayStation 5 shipped 3.4 million units in its first 4 weeks of sales, the highest ever for a PlayStation console, according to a Digitimes report citing industry sources. Production is expected to reach 16.8 to 18 million units in 2021 with the help of additional capacity support from Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company and back-end service firms, the publication said. AMD, which produces the console's customized 7nm CPU, has reportedly secured additional foundry capacity from Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, allowing downstream production partners to ramp up console output. PlayStation 5 has remained sold out since launch. In Western territories such as North America and Europe, retail partners replenish limited stock at random every so often, but sell out almost immediately. The North American PlayStation Direct store receives additional stock more regularly, but faces the same immediate sellout. In Japan, retail partners have been often announcing raffles to sell extremely limited additional stock. A total of 242,000 PlayStation 5 units have been sold in Japan as of December 20th, according to the latest Famitsu numbers. While shipment priority was given to North American and European markets in November and December, SIE is expected to allocate more PS5 units to Asian markets after January 2021, Digitimes sources said. PS5 launched on November 12th in the US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea, and on November the 19th in the rest of the world, including Europe, Middle East, South America, Asia, and South Africa. Very impressive figures here. Now, of course, this is shipped, not sold through, so all of that to say, who knows how many of these are actually in the hands of consumers and not being stockpiled in some kind of scalper's basement next to his mom's laundry pile where she lives upstairs, but regardless, 3.4 million units is a ton of units, and supposedly all of these have been sold through. So you're looking at plenty of sales, and again, this is the highest ever initial shipments for a PlayStation console, and for good reason. It's a good console. Now, I don't have one, haven't played one yet, but I plan on picking one up at some point in the future whenever a God of War comes out, something along those lines, whenever there are more games that cater to me personally. But man, PlayStation is continuing to kill it and really retain that crown as the king of the industry in 2020 and going into 2021. Now, for those that have been keeping up with the Cyberpunk news, things have been quite the roller coaster for the team at CD Projekt Red, but a new DLC website has gone live with free DLC arriving in early 2021. Just before CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 launch, a launch trailer contained a small message at the end that referenced upcoming DLC. The message notes that the free DLC program in early 2021 is still on track, and now an official website is available, although no new details have been revealed as to what could be included. Last month, CD Projekt Red's joint CEO Adam Kaczynski explained in its third quarter earnings call that the studio was due to announce and reveal DLC plans for Cyberpunk 2077. But due to a delay, it would instead be revealing post-launch content sometime after the game launched, which was on December the 10th of 2020. It was also said that more information would be shared in Q1 2021. An official website is now live and indicates that the DLC will be arriving to the game sometime in early 2021. The text reads, "Free DLC starts hitting Night City early 2021. Stay tuned for more info." Have you guys caught on to when to expect the DLC? Early 2021 if you missed it for 5 times. There seems to be no clues on the page as to what exactly this DLC will be, and an auto-playing video just seems to respond to in-game cutscenes, all that good stuff. But ultimately the game is available right now everywhere, and more updates are coming to fix the game as well as it can be fixed on Xbox One and PS4, and next-gen upgrades are coming in 2021 as well. The biggest news story here is that I am sure the team had to pivot, because right now is not the best time to be talking about DLC. It's kind of like if the waiter came out and took your order for drinks and then came back and asked what you wanted for dessert. still hadn't gotten the main course. There's a chunk missing there in my dining experience, and so to ask about DLC or to talk about DLC coming in Cyberpunk 2077 is kind of getting the cart before the horse. You need to be able to fix the game to the point that people can enjoy the main campaign to its fullest potential before talking about what's coming in the future. And you gotta remember, Cyberpunk 2077 has a lot of content coming down the pike. We're talking about not only free DLC, but a next-gen update on top of an entire new multiplayer component that is probably going to be something like Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, will that still maintain its same scope? Considering what happened with Cyberpunk, that is something we will have to wait and see how all of that pans out. But ultimately, they are talking about some DLC, which should be coming sometime in 2021. But who knows what the launch path on that one looks like, because man, what a wild ride this launch has been. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed today's show, drop me a like down below, and be sure to come back tomorrow for the final episode of 2020. Should be a good one. I hope you guys come back and enjoy the show. And then on Friday, there will be a most anticipated games of 2020 video up here on the channel if you did want to check that out. But until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.